Society, 3 Terraces, Waihope, Pinot Gris from Marlborough 2018 New Zealand. Pinot Blanc from Alsace. Anyway, we have opened a bottle of this and we'll have a wee taste. Cheers. On the nose you get peaches, stone fruit. Lovely taste, lovely colour. When I buy Australian wine, if it's white, it would be a Chardonnay. Things like Shiraz and things like that, the wines that made Australia really famous. I bought this wine, Xinomavro. This is another Greek wine. This is Aglioridigo, is the grape variety. If you have things like Beaujolais Village, they're not good at room temperature. A lot of the myth about room temperature goes back. Room temperatures now are a lot warmer than what they were 50 years ago.
Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Andrea. Today's video is a little different. The camera will be focused on Rico most of the time. And yeah, so it has been highly requested that Rico talks about the different wines that we have, as you know, and if you've been with me for a while, I do like a glass of wine now and again. So he's agreed to talk about the wines. He has recently been given a membership to the Wine Society. So the last lot of wines that he ordered, I kind of vlogged them randomly on my vlogs. But this time I decided to do a video allocated specifically for the wines. So we're going to start off with Rico introducing the wines. I'm having problems saying introducing. So he'll be introducing all the wines that he's now ordered. And then as we open the wines, I'll do small videos on each wine. So we'll talk about the notes, we'll talk about where they come from, the grape, the price, and what we think of them, if we're going to reorder them, and what we'll be eating them with, matching them with. So cheers and enjoy. Over to Rico.
The Wine Society deliveries come in the Wine Society van, and they're box in a Wine Society box. You can normally buy 6 or a dozen, but we normally buy a dozen at a time. And
this is our second order, isn't it?
This is our second order.
So it's all done online.
I only chose, I think it was five different wines this time, and we bought a dozen bottles of these 5 wines. Some of the grapes we don't normally drink. Normally we would just buy Chardonnays and Sauvignon Blancs, but of recent we've been drinking Pinot Gris quite a lot, and Pinot Blanc from especially from Alsace, which I've been enjoying, but Andrew's still more Sauvignon Blanc. But anyway, there are no Sauvignon Blancs in here. I
actually enjoyed the Pinot Gris, but for those out there that don't know, is a Pinot Gris a Pinot Grigio?
Yes, it's just another name for Pinot Grigio. Pinot Gris mostly comes from France, but it's also grown in New Zealand, Australia and in America. And in those countries, some growers use Pinot Grigio as the name, some use Pinot Gris.
So Pinot Gris is the grape?
Yes, Pinot Gris is a grape, as Pinot Grigio is a grape.
So it's 2 different grapes?
No, it's the same grape.
Alright, okay.
As in France they say Syrah, and in Australia they say Shiraz.
Alright, okay.
Same grape. Since we're talking about Pinot Gris, this is the Pinot Gris that I have bought from the Wine Society. 3 Terraces, Waihope, Pinot Gris from Marlborough 2018 New Zealand. It's from the southern, Marlborough's in the southern island of New Zealand, and it's to the north of the island. That's the region of Marlborough. This particular Pinot Gris is a whopping 14% volume, but we will talk about the wine a bit more when we open it.
We've got one open just now.
Yes, we're going to talk about that just now.
Alright, okay.
We also, I bought Pinot Blanc from Alsace. Now, my view on wines from Alsace is you don't get bad wines from Alsace. They are all good. Alsace is a region of France, northwest. It borders Germany and Switzerland, and the biggest city in Alsace is Strasbourg. This particular one, Alsace, we bought is a Pinot Blanc. Now, just to add a wee bit to that, Pinot Blanc is very similar to the Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris. It's just there's a slight difference, and it gives it this light. This wine is lighter in colour than Pinot Gris and Pinot Grigio, but very similar. This one is a Cave de Turckheim, if I've pronounced that correct. Turckheim being the village, and it's a cooperative of several different growers, and they produce this wine at this village. Goes lovely with fish, white meats, I would say. We're going to have it later on with we're going to have chicken today and some light vegetables, and we will be drinking the wine with that. But anyway, we have opened a bottle of this and we'll have a wee taste.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, on the nose you get peaches, stone fruit. Lovely taste, lovely colour. See that sort of pale golden colour. Let's have a wee taste now. Lovely wine, dry in taste, with a waxy finish. You can feel it's got a waxy finish. It sort of sticks to the back of your tongue as it goes
So
in.
what fruit did you say you could smell from that?
Stone fruit, things like, I don't know, sort of
Peaches?
peach, yeah, plums, these sort of things. Yep.
Okay, my turn now. I can't smell peaches or plums. I do taste them though. I do get that peachy. I do actually get that peachy taste as it hits the palate.
Yep.
I do actually get it. Yeah, I kind of get that. For years I couldn't understand when people compared wines to other fruit. I couldn't get it, but through the years I'm now getting those tastes. I really do get a peachy aftertaste from the wine.
It sticks to you, it's got that sort of wax as it goes down. It's sort of, yeah, I get that.
That sweetness that you get from a peach,
yes.
although it's not sweet.
It's not sweet. No, the wine is not sweet. I would say the wine is towards medium dry, towards dry. It's maybe a 2 or 3 on that.
No, I think it's lovely. I did,
wine.
and you said I wasn't going to be a fan of it, but actually I enjoyed this. Right from you, if you've watched my vlogs, you will have seen me trying this, and I did actually enjoy it from the first time that I tried it.
I never ever bought wines from Alsace for years. The most famous one obviously is Gewürztraminer, if that's the right pronunciation. But I tried, somebody gave me a Turckheim, I think was the one, which was a beautiful wine, and then I started buying them. Gewürztraminers, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, just various wines from Alsace, and I've never had a wine from Alsace that I could say, I don't like that wine. They've all been good wines. We talked very quickly about the 3 Terraces Pinot Gris, and we'll talk more about it when we come to open it. We also bought a couple of wines from Australia.
Hey Daniel, just for you.
This is for Daniel. Now, normally when I buy Australian wine, if it's white, it would be a Chardonnay. And in the past, I used to buy a lot of Australian Chardonnay, and I slightly went off them because a lot of them were heavily oaked, and I felt they were just too oaky, some of them. But I'm back on them again, and I love Australian wine, and of course things like Shiraz and things like that is the wines that made Australia really famous. And one of my favourites, all-time favourites, was Brown Brothers Shiraz, which was a lovely wine, and there was another red wine that I love from Australia, which was the Clan Capercaillie. I think
that was a blended. That was a blended.
A blend of grapes. Anyway,
there was Cabernet and all different things in that one.
Back to this wine. This Tyrrell's from Australia is a Verdelho, which is mainly a Portuguese grape, grown all over Portugal. especially in the island of Madeira, and they use it to make Madeira wine. This one's from New South Wales in Australia. And when we open it, we'll talk about it more. I quite like Verdelho as a grape, and I've had Argentinian Verdelhos in the past, but it's a wine you don't normally find in... You don't find Verdelhos in a supermarket. You'd have to go to wine specialists to find. And this one's from Australia, and I'm really looking forward to tasting it. And we'll talk about it more when we taste it. And we'll talk about the winemaker Tyrrell's, a bit of their history as well at that time. Now, we bought some Greek wine as well. We bought Moschofilero. This is a white wine, dry, grown mainly... The grapes are in the Peloponnesos area of Greece, at Mantinia. This vineyard is Semeli, and Moschofilero ones I've had in the past have got a flowery nose. When you sort of smell the wine, you get that.
Is that not what Moschofilero means? That's kind of...
It is an indigenous variety of grape from Greece, and I'm looking forward to having this because it seems to be a top wine, and we'll talk about it more when we open it. In this range of wines, the most expensive wine was £12, and I think this one was £12. Okay,
there you go.
The Greek ones were the dearest ones I bought, I think, apart from maybe this Australian one. I can't remember. I have to look at the prices again, Andrew. But I remember this was one of the dearer ones. Okay, but the first range of wines I bought from the Wine Society, most of the wines were below £9, from £6 to £9, but this time most of the wines that I've bought are between £9 and £13. Okay, 9 to 12, something like that. I bought this wine, Xinomavro. This is another Greek wine from Thymiopoulos. Xino meaning sour, and Mavro meaning black. Thymiopoulos is the chap's name. The winemaker, Apostolos Thymiopoulos. Now, this is a small winery, North Greece, towards Thessaloniki. The area where they grow Xinomavro in the north of Greece is what you would call Greek Macedonia. It's in Nausa, to be exact, and quite high vines. It's got a bit of history about it, but this Apostolos Thymiopoulos in Greece has become the sort of Greek expert on making Xinomavro, another indigenous variety to Greece, and I'm looking forward to tasting this.
You're looking forward to tasting them all?
Of course I am. but this one in particular, it's a red. We don't do a lot of reds, and I think this one's not going to disappoint. It's
funny because our boys enjoy a red, don't they? They like a red as opposed to a white wine. I think we've done all the wines apart from this one. And we have opened up to, you got butchers.
Yeah, but that was only 5 different wines we bought. 5 or 6 different wines. 6. This was the 6th wine. This is another Greek. This was the cheapest wine I bought this time. I think this one was, I don't know, £6 or £7. 6.5, I don't know, I can't remember. But this is Agioridigo, is the grape variety, which is grown all over Greece. It's a common grape in Greece. It's indigenous variety again. And it's a light wine. And the reason I bought this was I'm going to slightly chill it. And maybe one day we're having a barbecue, to have a chilled red with the barbecue just out in the garden.
Is that what's recommended for that one?
Yes, it says here 16 degrees Celsius, which is slightly chilled. It's not room temperature. You know, it's to bring it down slightly. Like if you have things like Beaujolais Village, they're not good at room temperature. And a lot of the myth about room temperature goes back. Room temperatures now are a lot warmer than what they were 50 years ago. So sometimes a red wine needs to be just brought down slightly, not to have it at 20 degrees room temperature. It's to bring it down to 17, 16 degrees, and it brings out the flavour of the wine. After all, most of these wines that are stored in wine cellars are stored in cool conditions, 10, 12 degrees. All the reds, all these 200 and 2,000 pound bottles of wine, they're stored in the dark at low temperatures. Anyway, that's our haul of wine. We'll talk more later. Having dinner, and we're drinking the Pinot Blanc we talked about earlier from Alsace. Andrew prepared a nice roast chicken thighs, and she put a mixture of Eastern spices, shall we say. There was paprika, turmeric, different Eastern spices on it, roasted, some carbonaro, and we've got some flatbreads here. Lovely dinner, and the wine complements the meal beautifully. Just to carry on where we left off about the wine, this wine was just around the £8 mark, just short of £8. It's a 2017 Pinot Blanc, and the tasting note said it should be drunk by the year 2020. It won't last that long in this household anyway. The cooperative, there's 216 growers in the village, and they all contribute their grapes to make this wine in the village, and it's this Turckheim. The village itself is about an hour's drive to Strasbourg, which is the biggest town in Alsace, but it's only an hour and a half from Geneva, which is in Switzerland, across the border, and about 2 hours from Stuttgart in Germany, so it's got a nice position. That's it. What I would like to add to that is the region of Alsace has started to fascinate me. What I should say as well about Turckheim, they don't only make Pinot Blanc, they make Gewürztraminer, they make Pinot Gris, and I think they also make Riesling.
If it was Riesling?
It's Riesling,
okay,
to pronounce it properly, apparently. But anyway, and I would actually like to go to Alsace. Well, maybe.
So when would you like to take me?
Well, does it really interest you to go to Alsace?
Is it near Paris?
Well, that's what I was suggesting. We could go to Paris first and then go to Alsace,
right, okay,
or vice versa, you know. Because last year I went to Sussex with my boys. They took me there for my 60th birthday. We did a wine tour of English wines, and it was wonderful, and I would like to go to Alsace. That's another area that really interests me. Anyway,
boys, take note.
Cheers.
I hope you have enjoyed Rico's introduction to the wines that he ordered. So I'm going to upload this as an introduction to the wines, and then as we open up the individual wines, I'll film Rico tasting them, and he can go into detail about each individual wine. So on that note, thank you very much for watching.
Can we just
Cheers.
Can we just add, because people might be interested, Andy?
Right, okay.
This Pinot Blanc that we're drinking just now is 12.5% by volume, and it's a screw cap, stealth enclosure, or screw cap, whatever you want to call it. So there we are.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's what we're having just now. So cheers with this Pinot Gris from Alsace, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.